I'm not gonna make it.
If I hadn't got the concept working, then I think the film would have failed, because you would have said no one would have watched it.
No way, mister. You're going to the top of this mountain, broken legs and all.
It was pretty exciting because, first of all, I always really admired Peter.
You're crazy, you know that?
You know, the Truman Show was fantastic.
Yeah, tell me something I don't know.
Somehow it feels like it has a particular place in the library. Every decade there's a couple of films that sort of hold up and capture the time they were made and sort of have a timeless quality about them.
All right, promise me one thing, though. If I die before I reach the summit, you'll use me as an alternative source of food.
Peter saw, he saw in Jim something that none of us had seen.
It's unbelievable how quickly the real world caught up to this cynical, dark fantasy Andrew Niccol had 10 years ago.
Good morning!
Morning. Good morning.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
It was so complete. It was like putting someone else's clothes on. And I thought, who is this Andrew Niccol? You know, this is different. This is a writer. And a writer who's writing something that he knows about.
It's absolutely Andrew's script, and Andrew was very much a part of the concept. He was able to focus in on it and discover something that was unique about it, and that's what Peter discovered as well. He discovered the uniqueness.
I think the prophetic kind of aspect of this piece comes from Andrew Niccol, and it's reflected in some of the other films he's made, like Gattaca. And I pay him the compliment of the originality of that point of view of the world. That's Andrew's thumbprint.
The Truman Show is really not such a far-out concept right now.
And we used to laugh. We used to make jokes about, you know, what now is going to happen with reality TV, which wasn't even an expression then. And lo and behold, it's done that and gone beyond it.
Yeah, it predated all that stuff. Yeah. Unfortunately, it rang true.
That's why I say I admired it in a way, and admired Andrew's writing. And it was kind of perfect for what it was, but it wasn't right for me. It's an odd thing, and the only time I've ever had something that I did admire, but wanted to change if I did it. And that fundamentally came down to one major sticking point for me. For me, Andrew's draft was like a brilliant speculative science fiction, almost.
The script had been originally written, and it was set in New York City. It was a very different tone, a very different film.
If I looked at it as a movie, I thought it had to be light where he had it dark. I wanted to make it real, not science fiction. I wanted to make it just the near future, if you like, which of course it turned out to be, not that we knew that.
Peter was predicting what the future holds for us, that we were taking the next step into a controlled environment.
And to do that, I thought, well, why would people watch it 24/7? It has to be not depressing, which it would be. It has to be kind of enlivening.
That'd be all for you, Truman?
That's the whole kit and caboodle.
Catch you later.
It has to be therapeutic and sort of, you know, have a certain charm, a certain sort of relaxing quality to it. So that depended on the star, naturally.
Good morning, Truman. Good morning, Truman.
Hey, how are you guys?
Beautiful day, isn't it? Always.
I think he was attracted by the basic idea, and I think he had an enormous respect for Jim Carrey's talent. And the thought of doing a picture with Jim Carrey, I think really, and to bring out a new dimension in Carrey really was a challenge to him.
And two, I thought it should be in a sort of holiday resort, a sort of, you know, the ideal place. People always, you know, look at holiday brochures, or they have screensavers with fish on them and tropical lagoons, you know. So I thought it should be in a place like that, a dream haven, and always be sunny, you know, and except when they wanted to make it rain. So therefore it would be more entertaining. And so I needed Jim, and I needed to rejig the script with Andrew to get it to suit this concept.
I was sort of proud of Jim for wanting to take a leap and grow. I mean, when you have someone who is profoundly talented, and Jim is a geyser of talent, when you see them be brave enough to step outside of what they're comfortable in, you know, they deserve all the support that they can get. And knowing that Peter had worked with Robin Williams before, you know, Jim could not have been in better hands.
Well, when I saw Ace Ventura, you know, pretty clearly he was a star. And he had a particular kind of energy. If I can quote Charlie Chaplin, you know, when he was asked, what do you think it is? I know it's a corny question, Charlie, but why do you think the world loves you? And he said, oh, that's an easy question to answer. I offer them charm and energy, the two things they most lack. And Jim has those qualities. And he was ambitious, which is interesting. He was ready for a change. He was ready to try something to break out of the mold of basically a very young audience, which is what he had. And this was perfect material. He realized that for him, because he could, you know, keep one foot in a way in the comedy area and at the same time develop a more realistic character.
I was really kind of nervous about working with someone like Peter Weir because I thought he would have such granite, written in stone ideas about, you know, about what he wanted to do. You know, he would come down from the mountain and go, these are the laws. Let thou, you know, whatever, whatever he was going to do, you know, pull a Moses on me. But he didn't. He was very like, come on, let's scratch this out together. You know, let's figure it out.
You know, many comics, people who basically do comedy, are really strange, and many of them are self-loathing. He's not. He is a very sensitive and understanding. He put himself completely in the hands of Peter Weir. And after all, he had had tremendous success doing bizarre comedies. This was his chance to move into the dramatic world.
So this was a big risk that Paramount took and that Peter took, and that, you know, it wasn't an obvious choice.
Having said yes to this project in '95, with a script in pretty good shape, it seemed, Jim wasn't available for a year, and he was just booked up.